Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Chemical Guys Detail Garage. Summer is finally here, which means a lot of you guys are going to be outdoors and enjoying your vehicles like this UTV, your motorcycles, your ATVs, your boats. So today I want to show you guys how to go ahead and maintain your UTV, how to clean it, how to protect it, and how to maintain it so that it's working to its best performance possible. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and take a look into it. So right off the bat, you can see that it has a light layer of dust. This UTV, fortunately, it doesn't have 2 inches of mud on it, but you can definitely see that it hasn't been washed in a while. You can see the interior is neglected, the paint's dirty, the plastics are dry and faded. You know, you have a lot of stuff going on here, which you want to go ahead and maintain, especially the undercarriage and the wheels, because, you know, this vehicle has the potential of looking amazing, better than brand new, and all it's going to take is a few steps. So today I want to show you guys how to take those steps so that your UTV stays looking as great as possible. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and address the dirtiest part of this vehicle, which is the wheels and the undercarriage. All right guys, so now we're here at the wheels. As you guys can see, we have a lot of exposed undercarriage components. We have some filthy tires and some filthy rims. Now I'm going to show you guys how to go ahead and clean all these areas very properly. You know, especially with the undercarriage, you want to make sure to clean those areas because, like I said, you have a lot of sensitive components right here. You have your suspension, you have your radiator, you have your shocks, and all these, you know, a lot of metal surfaces. You want to make sure that these areas are always clean and free of mud, because what's going to happen, and, you know, I see it happen a lot, is, you know, you go off-roading, especially if you go towards somewhere like on the coast, like on the beach or something like that. You're going to get a lot of salt on there, and over time, if you don't clean that up, it's going to start etching and eroding a lot of your undercarriage components, such as the metal, your suspension, and it ends up looking very nasty. So you want to make sure that it's all clean, especially for safety hazards, because you have like a lot of mud and grime that's on there. Who's to say that there's nothing there missing, like a missing bolt, a loose bolt, or anything for that matter. You want to make sure that everything is clean so that you can observe it, and always make sure that you are riding in the best condition possible without any hazards. So to begin this process, I'm going to go ahead and start off by wiping down this entire section. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the tires and the wheels here so that we can get started on this, and then we can go to the undercarriage. So I did use my pressure washer to go ahead and rinse this down. I didn't have it on simply because I want to go ahead and just safely use the water to go ahead and drag any kind of loose dirt and debris off the surface so that I don't pressurize it and potentially scratch it with the high pressure and the filth that's on there. So give it a light little rinse, and then we can go ahead and begin the cleaning process. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and address the tires here. Now the tires are one of the things that get filthy the most, because you get it and you get a lot of dirt and grime that embeds on there. And often not, you know, especially with these UTVs, you know, you apply dressing onto them and you most likely don't clean it before the next coat. So you want to make sure that you properly clean them so that any kind of dressing that you apply on there sticks its best and is completely dry to the touch so that dust doesn't collect onto it. So first things first, we're going to be using All Clean, which is a citrus-based all-purpose cleaner. I love using All Clean because it works on practically everything. So you can go ahead and use it for tires, your undercarriage, you know, it works on those kind of surfaces. We're going to clean them up. All you have to do is spray a coat onto it, and that's going to go ahead and use the powers of citrus to go ahead and break down a lot of that dirt and grime that's on there, and then kind of oils that are lingering on there from previous dressings. And just like that, I like to give it a few seconds to penetrate while I grab my stiff bristle brush. And this brush is great because it has a stiff bristle. So you guys can go ahead and hear that. It's very stiff, which means it's gonna go ahead and scrub off all the dirt and grime that collects on there. So I like to go ahead and spray onto my brush just a few more times for added cleaning power. And all you have to do is agitate it up and down. And like I said, that's gonna go ahead and remove all the grime that's embedded on there. You know, this brush works exceptionally well, especially for tires that have, you know, a lot of these rubber grooves. You know, luckily for the most part, this is all smooth right here. We have some textured up here, but I know on other tires, it's a lot more textured, such as if you have paddles or, you know, whatnot. So make sure to give this a deep scrub, and that's gonna go ahead and get rid of any kind of grime, dirt, salt that builds up on the actual tire itself, so that your tire is clean, so that you can, you know, apply dressing on there and have the best results possible. Just like that, very easy. Doesn't take a lifetime to do. It's just something quick that you guys can go ahead and do just to clean your tires. Next, we're gonna go ahead and address the rim here. Now, my next product is gonna be Sticky Citrus Wheel Cleaner Gel. Now, Sticky Citrus is great because it's a citrus-based wheel cleaning gel. So what does that mean? So with sticky citrus, it's great because it's a gel, which means that it's going to go ahead and lubricate the surface, because these wheels right here, they're painted, they're gloss painted. They're not matte. I know they may look filthy on, you know, camera, which causes them to look matte, but they are glossy. I do see the sheen that it has on there. So this is going to go ahead and safely clean any kind of glossy surfaces, and safely, so that we don't scratch it up, because it's going to use the gel as a lubrication so that when we glide with our brush, it doesn't scratch the surface. So all you have to do with this is spray a nice coat. And the reason it's called sticky citrus wheel cleaner gel is because it literally clings onto the surface. So you guys see right there, if I spray some on there, it literally just sticks on there. It doesn't run off. It's not like a liquid-based product. It's an actual thick gel, which is great because that's going to allow us to have the best cleaning, you know, time possible. So once you do that, I get my flag tip brush and I just spray just a little bit more onto my brush for added cleaning power. Set that down, and then we're going to go ahead and begin to agitate. And right away, once you begin to agitate it, you'll see it starts foaming up. So it'll act kind of like a shampoo in the sense that it's going to foam up and give us some lubrication properties so that we don't scratch the finish of our wheels. And I can't say this enough. These are glossy finish wheels, so you want to make sure that you use a gel-based product to clean your wheels. I know a lot of people like using like degreasers and stuff like that, which are great, you know, for cleaning, you know, very durable wheels as far as like deep cleaning. But when you're working with sensitive finishes like this, you want to make sure you go ahead and use a sensitive cleaner such as sticky citrus. And just like that, we'll clean that up. And I'll also grab my boar's hair brush, which is a smaller brush that I can go ahead and use to get into the lug nuts and any kind of tighter areas. Same thing, spray that into there, and we can go ahead and get into the lug nuts right here, get all in there, make sure that we get the best cleaning possible, and any of these tighter areas that we couldn't get to with our flag tip brush. You can also get this little lip right here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it is an area right there. So, you know, the better that you do with cleaning your wheels, the better, and, you know, the longer that they're gonna last as far as like the condition and what they're in. So you can also take the time to get into all these little grooves where the bolts are on these wheels to make sure that all the dirt and grime is removed. So like I said, it's the details that matter with these things. You know, anyone can clean these wheels, but a true professional detailer will never leave these things unturned, and they will make sure to get into these areas so that the clean is the best possible. All right, and just like that, we finished with the wheels. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the pressure washer so that we can give this a proper rinse. All right, so now that we're done cleaning the wheels, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the undercarriage. So while I was rinsing the wheels, I took the opportunity to go ahead and give the undercarriage a light rinse while I had the pressure washer on. So now that it's rinsed from the light debris and dirt, now we can go ahead and attack it with the stronger cleaner, which we're gonna be using our same cleaner, All Clean, which like I said, works on a multitude of surfaces, such as your undercarriage as well. So what I like doing with this is I like to spray a nice coat on throughout the entire undercarriage. And like I said, this is citrus based. So this is going to go ahead and break down any kind of grease, especially from all these suspension components and metal surfaces, so that we clean it up to our best capabilities so that it's all entirely clean. Once you know that, I do have my long flag tip brush, which is going to help me get in there without actually getting all the way in there so that I don't jack up my fingers. So same thing, spray your brush right here for added cleaning power. And all you're going to do is go ahead and pretty much scrub away all the dirt, grime, mud. Like I said, I know this UTV isn't the dirtiest one in the world, but it's just an example to go ahead and show you guys the proper method to go ahead and clean your undercarriage. Now, I love using this brush because like I said, it gets all the way in there without me having to get my hand all the way in there and jack it up my fingers. And it's flexible, so I can go ahead and use it on different surfaces, especially on sensitive surfaces like right here on the painted suspension components. And then if there also are some areas that are tighter, like such as right here, you can always grab your boar's hair brush and give these areas a nice deep scrub. So like I said, no crack goes unturned. So now that I've finished scrubbing the undercarriage, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my pressure washer once again to go ahead and give this a deep rinse. All right guys, and there you guys have it. You see the undercarriage and the wheel, it looks brand new again. Like I said, I know this wasn't the dirtiest UTV in the world, but this was more so a demonstration to show you guys how to go ahead and clean it. Like I said, this would be the exact same method I would use if the UTV was lightly dusty or heavily mudded up with like 3 inches of mud on there. It's the exact same process, exact same technique, and the exact same tools to go ahead and get the job done. So now that we finished the undercarriage, well, this undercarriage, I'm gonna go ahead and proceed with doing the other 3, and we're gonna go ahead and proceed with the car wash. All right guys, so we just finished washing the wheels on the undercarriage. Before I go any further, let me go ahead and apologize in advance. We do have our Smart Detailing University. Our master course is going on right now, so we have a lot of polishers going on in the background. So I apologize for that, but I'll do my best to go ahead and speak a little bit louder so that you guys don't get that in the background. The next step in detailing this UTV is the wash process. So now we're gonna go ahead and wash it from all the contamination, the mud, the dust, the grime that builds up on the paint, on the exterior, so that we can show you guys how to properly do that. And to do that, our best and most popular soap is gonna be Tough Mudder. Now, Tough Mudder is meant for stuff like this. If you go off-roading, if you go, mudding, if you have a UTV, an ATV, a motorcycle, whatever you go ahead and go mudding in, this soap is perfect for all occasions. This works out great at breaking down the heavy layer of mud, grime, and anything that's on the paint. It's gonna go ahead and do the best job at breaking it down and safely lubricating the surface so that when you wipe with your wash mitt, you don't scratch the surface. So remember, mud, dust, dirt, all that stuff can be abrasive to the paint. So we wanna go ahead and use the best washing method possible. So for that reason, I have my 2-bucket method set up right here, which means that I'm gonna have 2 buckets of water and 2 dirt traps. A dirt trap is the filtration system that's gonna go ahead and filter your wash water from any kind of dirt. And these sit at the bottom of your bucket. All you wanna do is dunk them in at an angle, and then once you get towards the bottom, pretty much set them down. And this creates an airtight suction that's gonna go ahead and keep your dirt trap at the bottom and the dirt below it. So now that we have those in place, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my Tough Mudder, and I'm gonna go ahead and dedicate my red bucket, my red dirt trap bucket with some soap solution. So I'm gonna grab my Tough Mudder and put about 1 ounce in there. And that's more than enough. Once I go ahead and activate the suds with my pressure washer, that's gonna foam it up, and we're gonna have our soap solution ready. So to join it, I'm also gonna be using our Torque foam cannon. Now I'm using this foam cannon because this is gonna help me go ahead and throw a thick, rich blanket of suds onto the surface of the UTV so that we get the best lubrication possible. So all you wanna do now is once your foam cannon is open, you wanna go ahead and put about 2 ounces of product, which is equivalent to about 2 good squirts. And that's it. Once you're done with that, you can close your bottle, grab your foam cannon head, and go ahead and twist that on. And once you twist that on, give it a nice firm kind of grasp. You want to stir it up because you don't want to create any kind of bubbles in there. If you shake it vigorously up and down, it's going to go ahead and kind of cause the product mixture to go ahead and foam up, which you don't want that in here. You want it to foam through your stem and not in the bottle. So stir it up so the solution is true, and you're good to go. So now that we have our foam cannon set up, I'm gonna set that down, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab my chenille microfiber wash mitt and put it in my soap bucket. Remember, the one with the red dirt trap is the one that we dedicated for our soap bucket. So I'm gonna go ahead and sit that in there, let that kind of lather absorb the soap. Once we start foaming the vehicle, we're gonna go ahead and activate our suds using our water and the pressure washer in our bucket, and then we're gonna go and continue with the wash method. But before I do anything else, I'm gonna go ahead and rinse down the vehicle from any kind of loose dirt and debris so that we get the cleanest and most filtered wash possible. So right now when I rinse the UTV, I want you guys to make sure to pay attention to the way I rinse it. Remember, we do have a lot of sensitive components, so we want to make sure to avoid those areas. Just make sure to be in control of your pressure washer so that you get the water where you want it and where you don't want it. So I just finished rinsing off the vehicle. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you guys got to hear me as well, but what I was trying to say was to pay attention to the way I was spraying the vehicle. Now, you want to make sure you do your best to kind of keep the foam away from the areas that you don't want to necessarily clean with it, such as the interior. And I know that's kind of hard because it doesn't have any windows, but the foam cannon and the pressure washer, they both have an angle, and you can always angle your hand differently to make sure that you don't get these products into your interior, which, you don't want to go ahead and do the excessive cleaning of it. The interior is going to be kind of dealt with differently, and I'll go over it with you guys once I'm done washing the vehicle so that we can save the the interior for last, so you can wipe it down and not have to worry about getting water or any kind of soap in there. So just like that, quick little rinse. Now we're gonna go ahead and plug in our foam cannon, which I'm gonna go ahead and plug in now. And remember, the foam cannon does have an adjustable tip right here. So adjusting this tip is gonna allow you to either shoot in a wider form or in a more direct foam. So pretty much if you have it all the way open, that's gonna shoot directly. If you have it very, very tight, it's gonna go ahead and shoot in a fan motion. So now that I have my foam cannon plugged in and ready to go, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the pressure washer again. Now I'm gonna go ahead and foam it so that you guys can get in on the action. Alright guys, so now that we have foamed up the UTV, now it's time to wipe it down. Now most people would think just by foaming it and rinsing it off would do the job. Well, whenever you're working with like a heavy layer of mud, grime, and it hasn't been washed in a while, you want to make sure to wipe it down with the wash mitt to make 100% sure that you wipe off all the contaminants. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a wipe with my microfiber chenille wash mitt. Now I like to go ahead and lather it up with some soap, and then I make my way over to the surface of the UTV. And now we can go ahead and properly wipe it down. Now, whenever you're wiping these things down, you want to make sure to mimic straight motions. You don't want to do circular motions because especially if there's dirt, dust, sand, anything abrasive on there, and you start doing a circular motion, that can actually potentially start making a swirl mark kind of scratch around the vehicle, and you're going to be left with a bunch of scratches, especially on your plastics. So very easily, you just want to make sure to wipe it down. Like I said, straight motions. The chenille microfiber noodles, they're super soft, which means that they're extra great for agitating the surface of your UTV and or your vehicle to make sure that you don't scratch it. Like I said, keep it straight motions. Now, usually with a lot of these plastics right here, on most UTVs, they're kind of like a texturized kind of plastic. On this one, they happen to be painted, which is a great thing, which means that we don't have to apply dressing on there, and we can just wipe it down with like a spray wax once we're done washing it. But for the textured plastics, we can still wipe them down with our wash mitt and rinse it off. We can safely wipe down the surface of the UTV. And like I said, if they are textured plastics, such as like this over here, we can go ahead and, like I said, simply wipe them down. You can actually wash your plastics like so, or you can just wait till the end till you dry the vehicle and clean it with like an all-purpose cleaner such as Nonsense, and then apply dressing such as VRP. So just make sure to go ahead and clean the surface, get what you can with your wash mitt from the exterior. And like I said, we can dedicate the rest of the time that we have to clean the interior. Once you've done a good amount of sections, you want to go ahead and come back to your buckets. So remember, at the beginning, we had two buckets. We had our soap bucket and we also had our rinse bucket. So that's our soap bucket. What I'm going to do now is, once I've done a good section of the vehicle, I'm going to go ahead and wring this out. Get as much of that off as I can. And then I'm going to go to my rinse bucket right here, which is, like I said, it's only water in here. I'm going to go ahead and dunk that in, and I'm going to go ahead and scrub my wash mitt towards the bottom where the dirt trap is. And the dirt trap has some grooves, so it's going to go ahead and scrub off any kind of abrasive contaminants such as dirt, grime, sand, and push it through the filter so that it stays at the bottom of our bucket so that we don't go ahead and bring it back to our vehicle and install scratches and swirls. Once you give it a rinse, then I like to go ahead and pull away, give it another rinse, get off all the water and any kind of loose abrasive particles that the water, pulls right out. And then you're gonna come back to your soap bucket over here, go ahead and give it a nice lather, and then continue with the vehicle. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the UTV. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse it off, and once I finish drying it, I'll be back with you guys so that we can tackle the interior. All right guys, so we finished washing the car, we dried it, it looks great. Now the reason I told you guys to wait till the end to do your interior is because now all we have to do is wipe down the interior from any kind of excess water or soap that may have landed inside. And we also get to give it a deep cleaning without having to worry about, having to wash the car afterwards and kind of working, back and forth. So it's kind of redundant to do your interior and then do the exterior. So do the exterior first and then do your interior so that once you finish your interior, you're done with the entire UTV. So with that being said, I'm going to be using Nonsense, which is an all-purpose super cleaner. Now the reason I chose this product is because it works out great on a multitude of surfaces. So this right here, I like it because it's pH balanced and neutral, which means that it's going to be safe for this kind of synthetic vinyl, any kind of plastics, any kind of textured, any of these surfaces on the interior. It's going to work out amazing. So it's also going to go ahead and break down the heavy layer of grime that's on here. So like I said, we didn't wash the surface, but some water did get in here while we were washing the exterior. So that's completely fine. We'll use it as an added lubrication. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is simply grab Nonsense, spray onto my towel, and you can use Nonsense a variety of ways. You can use it with the brush or just with the towel as is. In this case, I'm gonna go ahead and spray the surface here with Nonsense. Give it a second to kind of penetrate. And then I'm simply gonna go ahead and grab my yellow workhorse towel and wipe off the excess. And that's going to go ahead and wipe off any kind of dirt, grime. You see that just with one wipe? It looks crazy. All that dirt and grime that was on there. So you guys see all the dirt and grime that it pulls off. It's mainly just dust, just because, like I said, these UTVs, they have doors, but unfortunately they don't have any windows, which means that any kind of dust, bird droppings, anything that can get in here will get in here. So you're going to have to go ahead and manually wipe it down. So just like that, very quickly and effectively, you clean your seats. You can go ahead and flip it to a dry side, just kind of buff off any excess and pick up the excess of the dust, or push off any dust that's still on there and any kind of embedded grime that's on there. Just like that, huge before and after. It's nice and clean, and it's ready for us to apply like a coat of dressing. Or if you want to leave it as is, you can completely leave it like that. It's up to you. Like I said, whenever you work on these UTVs, you're not really going for like a full detail with the paint correction and waxing it and ceramic coating and all this other stuff. I mean, unless you do want to, but I feel like in most cases most people don't, which is just easy. Just go ahead and clean it to make it stay looking great and to have the best performance possible. So just like that, I'm going to go ahead and continue the rest of the interior surfaces. Like I said, you can use Nonsense on the plastics over here. I know that we did kind of wash them with our wash mitt and our soap, but it's still great to go ahead and clean them with an all-purpose cleaner, because if you want to apply a dressing, which we are going to, we want to make sure that the surface is ready so that when we apply our coat of dressing like VRP, it's going to go ahead and clean it, any kind of oils and grime that's on there, so that when we apply it, we have the best bond and the best shine possible. So just like that, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of the interior, and I'll be back with you guys once I'm done. All right, so now that we've finished cleaning the interior, now it's time to go ahead and condition our plastics. Now I know in a lot of these UTVs, you have a lot of exposed textured plastics, which is great because you can go ahead and condition them with VRP. Now I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have used this product. VRP is a water-based dressing that's gonna go ahead and restore, enhance, and protect your exterior plastics, vinyl, and rubber trim. Now, it works out great, especially for this plastic, because as you guys can see in some areas, you have some kind of dry patches right here. So that's gonna go ahead and restore it. And then it's gonna go ahead and condition it, which is gonna go ahead and revive that deep black look. And then it's gonna go ahead and protect it from these harsh UV rays from penetrating it and drying them out and fading and cracking them. So another reason VRP is great is because since these vehicles are, outdoors, they're exposed to a lot of dirt, dust, and debris, this product is completely water-based. So what does that mean for you? that means that it's not going to attract any kind of dust because it's a dry to the touch product. So once you go ahead and apply it, I just applied about 4 dots onto my applicator, and check that out. Just from that little patch right there, it's already given it a much, much deeper shade of black. It's restored it to its original conditioning, and it's bringing it back to that beautiful luster. And like I said, it's conditioning it so that it has that deep black look again, and it's also protecting it from the sun so that these plastics are not going to be exposed, so that they don't crack, dry, and fade over time. And since these plastics, they're a little bit drier than most, so I'm going to go ahead and apply just a little bit more product just so that I get a nice deep even coat. And I'm going to go ahead and apply this onto all the textured plastics that are on the UTV. Now, I know oftentimes a lot of you guys don't like putting a dressing on your plastics. I know because I have friends that, have some of these, and they always tell me the same thing, that they don't feel comfortable about putting a dressing on there because it's going to attract the dust and it's going to look all nasty and oily. Well, like I said, VRP is a water-based dressing, so this is not going to leave an oily feel. It's completely dry to the touch, and it's not going to attract any dust because it's going to go ahead and leave a nice slick surface so that dust just slides right off. And just like that, we have conditioned half of this plastic. Like I said, usually there's a lot of these plastics, so this is kind of more of a main focus, especially with these UTVs, since you have so many plastics around it. And like I said, this also works on vinyl. The seats inside, they are kind of like a vinyl rubber kind of mixture, so I can go ahead and apply it on there as well to condition it and protect them. But just like that, check out those results. You see what a nice condition, protected side looks like. And like I said, it's completely dry to the touch, so even if I grab my fingers, they're not oily. I can go ahead and do this all day, and it's not going to leave any kind of oily feel onto my hands. Alright guys, now there's nothing better than finishing off your detail with a spray wax such as Blazin Banana. Now this right here is the cherry on top of your detail. This is going to go ahead and enhance the natural beauty of your paintwork and any kind of glossy plastics. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is simply spray directly onto a microfiber towel. And you can go ahead and spray and wipe directly onto your surface of the paint and or plastics. You can also apply this on headlights. And this is going to go ahead and protect the surface and also leave behind a protection that's going to go ahead and prevent harmful UV rays from damaging and drying out the finish of your paint and the plastics. And it's also going to make your life a lot easier to maintain it. So it's going to leave a hydrophobic layer that's going to go ahead and repel a lot of contaminants from sticking, such as water, dirt, mud, so that the next time you wash your UTV, it's a lot easier to go ahead for you to clean up, and you also maintain that beautiful lustrous shine. So like I said, Blazin Banana, super easy to use. All you have to do is simply spray it directly onto the surface and or onto your towel. Give it a clean sweep, wipe it right off. And this does haze just a little bit just because it is a carnauba. And all you have to do is come back with the dry side of your microfiber towel and buff in that shine and admire that beautiful glory. All right guys, and there you guys have it. Just something quick in general for all you guys out there that have UTVs. I wanted to keep it simple for you guys. I know that cleaning these things, it's not often the easiest thing to clean, but it is certainly satisfying to go ahead and do so, because you have a lot of these beautiful little areas that you can go ahead and touch up, condition, especially the plastics. And I had a great time conditioning those. You guys saw the big before and after. As you guys saw, pick up these products, chemicalguys.com. I hope this video helped out a lot of you guys out there that have the UTVs. Like I said, if this helped you out, make sure to go ahead and give us a like, share it with your friends, and also comment down below if you've learned something new today. And as always, make sure to comment down below any future ideas that you guys have for videos that I maybe didn't cover with this UTV. As always, my name is Joey. This is Chemical Guys Detail Garage. We'll see you guys next time.